Alright, what's up you guys? Welcome to another action figure review, as today we're going to be taking a look at the Big Bad Beetleborgs released by Bandai in 1996. So if you're not familiar with Big Bad Beetleborgs, this is basically in the same realm as Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Masked Riders, Superhuman Samurai, and VR Troopers. However, if you have seen the Big Bad Beetleborgs TV show, it is reminiscent to all the other Saban-esque TV shows, as he incorporates Japanese footage into the American TV show. So one of the things that I really do like about this show is that even though the other TV shows were more about like bigger teenagers, this show focused more on kids and had a little bit more of a comedic humor and not necessarily a deep or dark storyline, but it really did incorporate a lot of cool characters and monsters, and the fact that one of the characters' grandparents owned a comic book store was really a nostalgic thing to see, because that's basically how the 90s basically operated. So for me, it was just one of those TV shows where you just can't help but to feel very nostalgic for it and see the memories of going into comic book stores, being with your friends, and also being a freaking superhero. So that's so badass. Now, before I begin the actual review, I also want to state that these are only 5 of the other remaining characters, because if you have seen the show in season 2, these Big Bad Beetleborg characters were also given upgrades and armors and different color aesthetics as well. And there was also additional 4 characters called the Astral Borgs, which we'll also dive into in a part 2 video. And within that video, we'll also go ahead and take a look at the Big Bad Beetleborgs Metallics figures, where each of these figures were also had different powers as well, and they had like updates to their costumes, because this is more of season 1 figures. So I wanted to get that out there because this will be considered as the part 1. So let's go ahead and take a look at these figures and see how great they really are. So up first, we're going to be taking a look at the Blue Stinger Beetleborg, the leader, aka Andrew, and this was inspired by the Japanese Rhino Beetle, and his powers are more on the telekinesis side. But one thing you can really note about these figures is that they all look absolutely beautiful together, and there's one big reason why. When looking at the figures up close, you can immediately tell that they're just all decked out in chrome, and that's what makes it an absolutely fantastic looking set of figures, because unlike all the other Saban or Bandai characters that they created within the toy world, that these are just all in their shiny chrome plastic, and that's what makes the Big Bad Beetleborg figures stand out the most, and that's why I absolutely love it. Because if you really look at it, it just contains so much detail, so much like technological, I don't know what you want to call it, designs and wiring, and it just makes the figures pop out so much more within any of your 90s collection, because just look at all that detail, the line work and the sculpting within the helmets, and that's what I absolutely love. I mean, the red beetle-esque eyes, and then the horns there as well looks freaking incredibly sculpted, and I just can't help it but to gush because they just really look fantastic all together. It's really hard to even describe what's going on within these figures, because they each have like their own design, and being in the blue color aesthetic, that's what I just absolutely love about it. And you can literally see just all these crazy intricate circuits, and even within the TV shows, whether it's the Japanese or the American versions, they still did a really great job trying to just capture all these cool designs and stuff, and how the blues contrasts against the silvers, and yeah, that just looks absolutely incredible. And the really cool thing about these figures is that they actually come with individual sticker sheets where you can place on the figures, so it gives you more options and variety. And to find these figures in a complete condition with all the stickers attached is very hard and rare to have, because you have stickers that can be placed on the ears, then you also have the little wrist stickers, and then the knee stickers right there, and as well as the little boot stickers. If you don't have those, that's what's probably going to make your figures look a little bit incomplete. Other than that, you can't help but just to notice how, again, beautiful just designed of these figures, and I can't help but to praise it, because I think they did a really great job with it. I know I'm keep saying that, but trust me, it is just, I can't help but to enjoy it. When it comes to accessories, he has his Stinger blade, which was standard for all the figures to come with, so you can remove these attachments, as every figure came with like these little Beetle-esque wrist gauntlets, and they attach to the forearms, and then the blades can basically be interchangeable, which is really cool. And then he does come with a sonic laser gun. You have to be very careful with these because if you place them a little too hard in there, these holsters could break off, so I had to be very careful about that. But look at that shine within the blues and the sunlight. Absolutely incredible. So yeah, great looking figures, very fantastic designs. Again, it's very difficult for me to even review these because I don't know how else to explain it just by talking about all the intricate line works, the gadgets and gizmos, and just the sculpt of the mechanical wiring and all that greatness of it. So, it kind of just reminds you of like circuit boards and stuff, but yeah, just the highlight here is really the entire figure. It's very rare to see like a figure that doesn't provide too much, but I think these are even better than the actual TV show versions, which is not so common within like 90s figures, but overall it's a fantastic figure. So that is Andrew the Blue Stinger Beetleborg. Up next we have Andrew's little sister Jo, who is the Red Striker Beetleborg, and her powers are super strength. And this is another fantastic figure, which is inspired by the Ladybug design. And this is just another incredible looking figure because I just love how, unlike the Blue Stinger, this figure is red, and it really captures a nice and unique aesthetic to it because it does look different compared to her brother's costume. And I love how one interesting contrast that you see against all these figures is that the armor that you see here that contrasts against like the actual reds, these are different color as well. I used to think they were black, but if you really look closely, it's like a darkish red brown color, which really does complement the highlighted reds here on the actual armor. So I think that's just incredible looking. I mean, the yellow eyes are dope, and you can see the little horns right there, even better, or the antennas, whatever the hell you want to call them. And her designs are also different as well, so each character comes with a individually sculpted design, which is fantastic. And yeah, so for her stickers, you have her ears, and then you also have the wrist stickers, and she also comes with the knee stickers and then the boot stickers as well. It's very hard to not tell if there's stickers going on here in the chest or where there's stickers elsewhere, so the OCD kind of kicks in if you're a completist, but it's just an overall fantastic design and you can't help but to gush over it. As for the accessories, she does come with the sonic laser gun, same as all the other figures, so they're like tight snug fit, so you want to be careful. And then she also comes with the Striker blaster, which is the similar holster or the gauntlet like all the other figures that places right onto the forearms, but she has a different attachment where it's like 4 different individual pieces there as well. So nicely sculpted. I just wish that the colors were actually vibrant because there are other versions out there where these are molded onto the right arm of the figures, and we'll see that later on the White Blaster Beetleborg, but these are the individual attachments to it and they're just all gray, so very similar to the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger or Master Rider figures, but I just wish that they were actually colored, which would have made them even more better and more value for what the figures offer. But even the details on her are just absolutely beautiful, and even if they are very similar to the other figures, at least the design of it and the sculpting really just looks beautiful and fantastic, and I just absolutely love it. And the cool thing is that I believe she's the only figure that comes with yellow eyes, as the other figures have red eyes, so yeah, I think the reds would have definitely been blended in there, which would have been a little harder to see, but that's really okay. So yeah, another fantastic looking figure, and I absolutely love it. So that is Jo, aka the Red Striker Beetleborg. So up next we have Roland, who's the Green Hunter Beetleborg with the powers of super speed and inspired by the Stag Beetle. So the design of this one is probably one of my all-time favorites just because green is my favorite color, and I just love this figure so much. I mean, it is, oh man, I can't stop gushing over it. Yeah, like you can just see like the beetle horns right there, and this is a very cautious type of design because these can easily break off, so you want to be very careful with those. But overall, just look at that green design. Very, very beautiful, very Oh man, like I don't even know what to even say anymore. These are just so beautiful. I just love the color green of how just it shines, and just the chrome is just fantastic. It's like I'm surprised it held up like this long. When it comes to the stickers of this figure, he does not include stickers on the ears, but this time on the actual chest piece, which is on the yellow side, so that's actually pretty good. He does come with a belt sticker there as well for the buckle. Very nicely designed there too. And then he has the wrist stickers, the knee stickers, and then the boot stickers. So a bit of a different decals for him, but still good for what it is. And like Joe, who had the red armor, if you actually look at this figure very closely, it does look like it's black, but if you look at it from the sunlight, it may not capture well in the actual video, but it is actually dark green. This is not black, this is dark green. So that just makes the figure pop out a lot more, and I absolutely love it. It is such a beautiful thing to do within these figures, and I just love how they kind of made each one of them distinctive from one another. And despite having still some more of the similar designs and stuff, at least it still holds up to it as one of the best figures, because I believe he has a different torso piece compared to the other two, but still the design of it is still great, and the backs are roughly all the same. Just look at that shine. Dear Lord, it's beautiful. Just the face sculpt, the design of it, all that, the circuits, it just looks so well detailed, well designed, and I can't praise it enough just how much I love it. And it looks absolutely beautiful. When it comes to the accessories, he does have his sonic laser right there. When it comes to accessories, he does have his sonic laser, which is similar to all the other ones, and then he does have his hunter claw right there. So yeah, very fantastic design. Again, just you can see how they sculpted that pretty well, and still wished it was color, but you know, more on the gray sides. But other than that, everything looks really great. I mean, can't really complain. I love it, and again, probably one of the best looking figures within my collection. So that is the Green Hunter Beetleborg. Alright, so up next we have Josh, aka the White Blaster Beetleborg, who is inspired by I guess the Hercules beetle, and his powers are invincibility. Now this figure is a very tough one because I have a love and hate relationship to it, and there's multiple reasons. Now, in the TV show, this character didn't last too long because he's kind of like the yin and yang to the Shadow Borg, and Josh didn't really last too much in the show because he was there temporarily. So it's one of those things where if the White Blaster Beetleborg destroyed the Shadow Borg, then he loses his powers as well. And one of the things that's very hard for this figure is that to find a complete all-white version of this figure is so damn hard, because this figure can yellow from the torso. Just by looking at the actual head sculpt of it, the horns do come out, so this piece can be removed for reasons I don't really know, but at least it's sculpted very well. It's a really well crafted design, and it's one of those things where in the TV shows, when you have another additional recruit to the team, you can't help but to actually just admire new additions, because I believe he was really reminiscent to Tommy the White Power Ranger when he came into the Power Rangers brand. So other than that, very nice sculpting. It's a little bit dinged up, but like I said, it's very hard to find a super minty version of this figure. He does kind of have like a little pink flaw right there, but that's okay. And there's a little bit of a flaw by the mouthpiece, but that's really okay. The design is a little bit more simple, but you can see it's kind of yellowing and turning more like egg white compared to the actual forearms and stuff. And yeah, it's very, very unfortunate. So unless you buy it brand new, you'll get like an all white figure. Other than that, you're not gonna get luck with finding, not having it colored. But the red eyes are cool. The red ruby right there, and then on the torso piece as well. The back looking pretty decent. Now, here's the thing that I absolutely hate about this figure, is that the original first versions of the Big Bad Beetleborgs came with one straight arm figure, so you can see that there's no articulation on these whatsoever. It's very, very, very sad, because if this was not there and it had like a normal arm like this one, it would have easily been one of the best figures within the Beetleborgs, because it just would have been a great looking figure. But because It has a straight arm and it has a gimmick. So you can see that he has the gear right there on the back of the figure. So if you were to move the gear down, it kind of looks like he's about to shoot you. So you just kind of lift the arm up like that, and you can just see how it has more of a straightforward design to it, which is really nice because it's actually colored and it's not gray. But the fact that it's just all sculpted to one straight arm is very, very disappointing, and I hate it. I just wished it was like the other figures, because he was never re-released or remade like the other original version. So I'm very, very, very disappointed. And in order to make this figure look more complete, this is one attachment to it, whereas the other piece is whatever this thing is called. So you can literally remove this piece right here, and then you can attach it to this piece right here. So at least there's more options, but again, it's just one of those things where the design of it could have been a lot better, and I just, man, so disappointed. He does come with his sonic laser, so now you can finally see the actual design of it, as the other ones were inside his holster. He unfortunately does not have a holster, so you gotta work for what it is, and his legs are a bit dinged up and stuff, but still a very nice, unique design to it. So very cool. Can't help but to admire it. I love it, but again, it's just, at the same time, I still hate it too, because it just needed to be without that straight arm, but it's still a great looking figure. So other than that, that was Josh the White Blaster Beetleborg. Alright, and last but not least, we have the Shadow Borg, and this was another fantastic figure, part of the Beetleborgs line, because he was the evil villain and counterpart to the White Blaster Beetleborg. And if you're familiar with this character, you'll notice that he was in the Power Rangers episode Forever Red as part of the villains, alongside some of the other Beetleborgs, like the Astro Borgs and the Green Hunter. But yeah, this figure is another fantastic one, because he's in the black color scheme, and he was inspired by the Longhorn Beetle. So you can see the horns right there. Very cool, and it's very difficult to have this in complete condition with, or both of them stuck there, or both of them intact, because they can break off very easily. And you can just see how this figure is more on the black side, but if you look closely, it's actually very dark brown. The armor pieces are black, but these are the other parts of the figures are more dark brown. So you got to be very, very cautious with that one. You got to pay more attention to that one, because it just looks really cool, and I just love how the design of this one has more of a red torso piece, which is pretty sick, and the design of the helmet looks very nice with the wide buggy eyes, and has an arch right there by the shoulder pieces, and some cool details of like golds around the actual torso piece, and little less mechanical but more armor-esque, and still shiny, still shines and glimmers. So the shimmering is freaking sick, and you can see some of the stickers peeling off. But here's pretty much the highlight, because when you're buying the actual Beetleborgs figures, they do come with these sticker sheets. It shows you the Shadow Borg sticker sheet of the wrist gauntlets, the leg pieces, and then the knee pads, or like the knee stickers, and then the triangles that goes on top of the boots, and then this one has like the ear pieces. So despite having some pieces not actually included, because I did not include the ear pieces on this one, and the little triangles on here, I will at some point, and half of the knee ones are kind of peeling off, but at least I'm happy enough to know that I have a very clean version of the stickers, so I can reincorporate these later on, which is absolutely incredible. As for his accessories, he does come with the traditional sonic lasers, but he has these other attachments, which are kind of like these claws or pinchers. I don't know what the actual name is for these, but there's one small one that can be attached and one longer one. And the cool part is you can really just incorporate this one on either arm, so they're not officially placed, because there are like 2 pegs that can go into the forearms, which is really cool. So if you want to change it up a bit, you definitely can, but still, I'm actually happy to see at least he gets 2 weapons and kind of puts the Beetleborgs up for battle. And yeah, it's a really fantastic looking figure, and everything about it just screams out a very sick and unique design to it, and I absolutely love it. It's cool how his eyes are not red, but they're more on the black side, with the mouthpiece having a really intricate design there, and everything else about it looks pretty good. So yeah, I mean, aside from the stickers that need to be readjusted or put on, everything else about it looks freaking sick, and I love how when the White Blaster Beetleborg had to destroy him, then his powers also got depleted as well. So kind of like a yin and yang situation like I mentioned earlier, but other than that, looks freaking fantastic. So yeah, really cool looking figure, and not much else to say, but yeah, I absolutely love it. So here we have all three Beetleborgs, which is Joe, Andrew, and Roland, aka the Red Striker, the Blue Beetle, and Green Hunter. So seeing all of them together just looks incredible. You can see how they're each designed differently by the torso, and aside from their individual weapons, most of the lower half is the same, and aside from the actual headpieces being different with horns and stuff, but the eyes are also colored differently, whereas this one's yellow, but these two are red. And then this one I believe is more on the darker bluish black side, but this armor piece has more of a brownish dark maroon blood red type color, and this is like a super dark greenish black color. So again, they are fantastic figures, and you can just see how the chrome really does shine. And like I mentioned before, these three figures also become into Beetleborgs Metallics, which we'll showcase in a future video, but it's really cool to see how they even changed their color schemes as well. So these are the four Beetleborg figures that are in their actual chromed out versions, whereas the White Blaster Beetleborg was not in its chrome in its original standard matte finish plastic, but you can just see how all four of these look absolutely beautiful. And when we do a part 2 video, you'll see how all the other colors and all the other figures just look incredible alongside this line. I really just wanted to focus on the original 5 characters and just see how great they really look all together, because yeah, so unlike the White Blaster Beetleborg, which does not have any chrome or anything, but still a decent addition to the line, these figures are just beautiful to look at. Alright you guys, so that was my Big Bad Beetleborgs collection released by Bandai in 1996. As we have the Shadow Borg, the Green Hunter, the Blue Stinger, the Red Striker, and the White Blaster Beetleborgs. So I want to thank you guys all for watching. Be sure to give a like and subscribe, and stay tuned for part 2 as we're going to go ahead and take a look at Big Bad Beetleborgs Metallics.